We're Kyle and Jared Lott of Smack TV.
Each week we go into millions of homes to show you great hunting.
And we couldn't do what we do without TC Outdoors doing what they do.
It doesn't matter if your adventure takes you fishing in the local pond or on a cross-country hunt.
TC Outdoors is going to be there for you with gear, know-how, and support, just like they are for us.
They've been here for years. We know them.
And we trust them.
So come by TC Outdoors on Northside Drive. Tell them Jared and Kyle sent you.
And welcome to the Georgia Southern Post-Game Wrap-Up Show. I'm Josh Aubrey, being joined by Mike Anthony, Georgia Southern beat writer and sports editor for the Statesboro Herald. And Mike, Georgia Southern Eagles open up the season here at Paulson Stadium with a 37-6 victory over South Carolina State. I think the score was pretty close to what we had both thought it would be when we did our predictions earlier in the week. Anything in particular impress you? It seemed like the offense did just what we pretty much thought they would. Shy looked pretty good back there, and the defense, besides one long drive, shut South Carolina State out the rest of the way.
Right, there may not have been anything that really jumped off the page at you about a singular play or an individual effort with this offense. I know it's a work in progress, and after all, this is the fourth offensive coordinator in as many years, so as much as fans want to see those big broken plays on option pitches, hopefully they're coming in the near future, but you just couldn't expect that right out of the gate. But what I did like is minimal balls on the ground, minimal negative plays for the offense. They weren't always going forward. They had a couple of drives where maybe they could have made a little more out of it than they did. But overall, they had far more positive drives, whether they were getting points or just gaining the field position battle. They had way more than you were used to seeing last year, and against what was pretty much an overpowered South Carolina State team at times, Georgia Southern did exactly what you're supposed to do, especially for a team trying to rebound from a 2-10 season. They went out there, they mostly played a clean football game, and that was enough for them to win.
We saw pretty much out of the shotgun for the most part, but we saw some under center. We saw a little bit of triple option put in there, but then we saw a little bit of the offense that people might be a little more familiar with Willie Fritz. Does that surprise you at all?
Well, I think that everybody assumed that that was in the playbook somewhere, but if there's going to be a concern at all about the offense, it's what we have talked about during the preseason is the inside zone play is what this team claims to be its bread and butter, and while they did try to do that, there wasn't a whole lot of running room inside the tackles. There were a couple of big plays. Those were definitely bright spots on the day, but also a lot of times where you saw more of the same from the last couple of seasons where it's kind of just a big group meetup right in back of the center for minimal gain or no gain at all. So I think that if they can just start to work on that, get better blocking, turn those into running lanes and get some yardage up the middle, then you're going to see more of those plays where they're able to unveil the triple option, give some different looks like under center, and really get defenses confused.
South Carolina State ate up a lot of the clock there in the third quarter, but when Georgia Southern's offense was out on the field, I thought they looked a lot better in the second half than they did in the first.
They did. They definitely had some bigger plays, some chunk yardage plays, and you mentioned the one long drive, over 9 minutes on the sole scoring drive for South Carolina State, and you don't want to see that, but the plus side of that is that accounted for over a third of their time of possession for the entire game. When they weren't on that 9-minute drive, they were on a bunch of 1- and 2-minute drives, and Georgia Southern winning the time of possession. And when you're getting first downs, when you're getting some scoring plays here and there and winning that time of possession, going to be very hard for teams to keep up.
All right, well, let's get out and take a look at some of the highlights between Georgia Southern and South Carolina State. The Georgia Southern Eagles season opener Saturday evening as they host South Carolina State. Eagles taking the field, hoping to put last year's disappointing season behind them before a great crowd at Paulson Stadium. The official head coaching debut for Chad Lunsford, and his defense stepping it up early. Jay Bowdry with the hit. Here for no gain. Later it's Raymond Johnson coming up with the hit for a loss. The offense taking over, and Shy Wirtz keeps it. He cuts around for an Eagle first down, and then cleaning things up, the give to Monteo Garrett. He's in. The 2-point conversion failed, and it was 6-0 Georgia Southern. More from the defense, this time creating the turnover. The fumble scooped up by Ty Phillips, and the big fellow with a decent return here. The offense back to work, and it's Wirtz running basically the same play he did earlier, except this time he fights his way into the end zone. A 23-yard score. He'd have over 160 yards rushing. 13-0 Georgia Southern. Not much offense from either team in the second. Tamarcio Reese with the hit for no gain. Wirtz with positive yards here, but this drive would stall. The Eagles have to call in Tyler Bass for the chip shot. It's good. 16-0. The defense from Georgia Southern able to make that score hold up. Kendall Vilder on the stop, and the Eagles take a 13-0 halftime lead. Second half, the offense starting to click. The handoff to Wesley Fields for 12 yards. Next, the pitch will go to Wesley Kennedy, who cuts up field for 23 yards. The ball pops loose though, but the Eagles are able to recover. Capping the drive, Wesley Fields, the 2-yard touchdown run, and it's 23-0. South Carolina State then goes on a time-killing 9-minute-plus drive, capped off by the Nick Tyrese touchdown. Makes it 23-6. The extra point was blocked. That holds up till the fourth quarter. In the fourth, the offense looking sharp. Wirtz hits Kennedy, who gets a 15-yard carry. Next, Wirtz back to pass. Nobody open, so he tucks it and picks up first down and then some to the 29. Then from the 13, Wirtz seeing a seam and taking off for the score from 13 yards out. More from the Eagle O. The give to Matt LaRoche, who does a nice job getting upfield for a 36-yard pickup to the South Carolina State 35. Later, same drive, the pitch to Logan Wright, who turns upfield for 18 yards. And then capping the scoring, it's Wirtz following his blockers nicely. His third touchdown of the evening. And the Eagles send the fans home with some fireworks, winning 37-6. After the game, we had a chance to talk with head coach Chad Lunsford and some of the players about the win over South Carolina State.
But it felt good to get back out there, you know what I'm saying, showing these True Blue fans what we're about this year. Coach Lunsford called this an identity game, and I feel like we did a good job of running the ball and did a good job on defense from stopping them from running. But I definitely like what we put out there on the field today. I would say we had, you know what I'm saying, a good bit of mistakes here and there, but it did clean up this week in practice. It felt good. It felt good going out there, being able to execute. Like you said, the first half was a little bit shaky, but I feel like we got together and came together in the second half and did what we were supposed to do. I feel comfortable in this offense. Whatever coach the best draws up during the week is what we're going to get out there and run. I got full confidence in his play calling and what he do. I feel like he definitely going to put us in the best position for the next couple of games or throughout the season.
It's very exciting, man. Finally got a win on our belt. It's a great way to, you know, start the season off, to start the season off on a good pace. Definitely did get more comfortable as the game went on, but I feel like we need to try to just work on trying to get started in the beginning of the game so they can help us in the beginning, and so that way we can carry on out throughout the game. But once we get going, and it really turned out to a positive for us.
It felt good. We all just wanted to see what the product that we put on the field, is it good or is it bad? And I think today that we showed that it's good. I wouldn't say it because we went over through a spring and fall camp. We had emphasis on it, so we'll go out every day and practice it 15 minutes before practice. So I'll say that we had a pretty good grasp of the defense.
Well, you know, it get that nasty taste out of our mouths from last year. You know, starting out 1-0, feel good to be 1-0, and just for the new season, you know, new era, just new team and new coaches.
How would you assess the defense?
I think we did good. You know, it's always improvement, always on defense. You know, it's always little things, but, you know, get them little tweaks out and we'll be okay.
You know, coming off last season, being a 2-10 football team, it's all about getting wins right now, and that's the main thing. I'm proud of our guys. I thought they did go play clean today. Defense did a really good job of causing 3 turnovers, and I think our offense did a good job of you know, holding on to the football. Good first start. Obviously, we got to improve from game 1 to game 2, and just know that the schedule's going to get tougher, and we got to get better. We left points out on the field in the first half. I think there's something we're still gelling on offense. And we said this in scrimmages and in training camp that our defense was a little bit ahead of our offense. But I was proud of them. They did come back in the second half, and we talk about finishing all the time. And we made some adjustments, and our guys did a really good job of coming out, especially with that first drive in the second half. We got a great kickoff return, and then our guys went ahead and put in the end zone.
Coach, what do you feel like the biggest difference being out on the field this year compared to last year?
The morale. Our guys they're excited about playing football, and they're excited about going out there and trying to make Georgia Southern back to what it was. It is a process right now, and I'm not the main thing, and this is all we're talking about, is just make sure we got one more point than the other team. I would love to go out and blow out every team when we get that opportunity, but hey, getting a win is important. It's hard to win college football games, and if our guys will go play discipline like they did, control the clock, control the run game, and play great defense, and then change the field position on special teams, I think we can win ball games that way.
Coach, the communication between you, your offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, how'd that go? I know you've been working on it throughout the off season, but it's a little different when you get into a game situation. And is Coach DeBest calling the plays offensively? Yes,
Coach DeBest does call the plays. Coach Sloan calls them on defense. I like to manage. Coach Dodge is special teams coordinator. I got heavy input in special teams, but Coach DeBest has been hired to run our offense. Coach Sloan's been hired to run our defense, and I let them do it. And I manage the football game, and I make sure I keep a pulse on our football team.
All right, Mike, so the Eagles start off 1-0. They did that a couple years ago with a similar team coming to call with Savannah State coming in. I think South Carolina State's a little bit better than that Savannah State team was. But the big game comes up on Saturday. They got UMass coming in. UMass beat Georgia Southern pretty handily last year, and I think a lot of people are pointing at this UMass game as an indicator of whether this season will be a positive one or not.
Right, after what Georgia Southern fans saw last season, obviously nothing can be just written off as an automatic win, but Georgia Southern did its job against South Carolina State. It turned into more or less a dress rehearsal, and now they will get that test. It's a barometer check. This is a team that figured to match up on paper with Georgia Southern last year and instead blew them right off the paper, right off the field in what ultimately was former head coach Tyson Summers' last game. That may have had something to do with his midseason departure. So now is as good a time as any for the Eagles to take stock of what they've got. It's going to be a very different threat. This UMass team can put the ball in the air far better than South Carolina State did. However, Georgia Southern figures to have one of the better defensive secondaries in the Sun Belt, so it's going to be up to the offense to maybe string some more drives together, maybe turn some of those positive drives into points drives if they're going to keep up with the UMass team that lit them up through the air last season.
All right, so next week here at Paulson Stadium, 6 o'clock kickoff, Georgia Southern and UMass. We hope to see you there. For Mike Anthony, I'm Josh Aubrey. See you next week.